We're right on the edge of this quiet but really profound shift in how we think about our own health. We're finally starting to move away from all that confusing medical jargon and toward a real personal understanding of what's going on. And it's all being powered by AI.
I mean, have you ever gotten a lab result back or read a doctor's note and just felt completely lost? Like you need a translator just to figure out what it means for you? It's such a frustrating feeling, right? Well, what if I told you that's all finally starting to change?
And this, right here, this is the crucial shift. For so long, getting health info online has been like using a generic cookbook. Sure, it has a ton of recipes, but it has absolutely no idea what's actually in your pantry. The new way, with AI, is all about looking at your specific ingredients, your personal health data, to give you advice that actually makes sense for your life. So let's dive into the first big idea. We're moving from that one-size-fits-all model to something deeply, deeply personal. There's a whole new wave of AI tools making this happen, and for this explainer, we're just going to call them AI health assistants. So the core concept here is actually super simple, but it's incredibly powerful. These AI systems are built to take your unique health info and basically act as a translator. So instead of that dense medical terminology, you get clear, simple explanations in plain language you can actually understand and use.
Okay, but how does this actually work, under the hood? Let's get into the nitty-gritty of how your own data becomes the key to unlocking these personalized insights.
Now, I know this diagram looks a little complicated, but the idea behind it is pretty straightforward. The AI engine is basically a central hub, and its job is to connect all the different pieces of your personal health puzzle. And it's not just connecting them, it's using these powerful language models to analyze everything, spotting patterns and trends that would be almost impossible for a person to see in just the raw data. So when we talk about your personal ingredients, what are we actually talking about? Well, it's things like your vitals from a connected device, your daily activity from a wearable, maybe what you're eating from a tracking app, and even the data from your official electronic health records. The AI then combines all of this stuff to get the full picture, a much more complete view of your health. So you see, it's not just a tool. It becomes this incredibly well-informed guide. Just imagine having a personal trainer who already knows all your habits, your schedule, your goals. The advice they could give you would be so specific and so much more effective, right? Well, that's exactly what this technology is trying to do. And the scale here, it's just mind-boggling. We're talking about hundreds of millions of people looking for health advice online every single week. That is a massive number of people who just want some clarity. So think about it. Even a tiny improvement in understanding, when you multiply that by millions, could have a huge collective impact on public health. Okay, but with hundreds of millions of people starting to trust these tools, all this personalization comes with a monumental responsibility. And that brings us to what might be the most critical part of this whole conversation: privacy. Because when it comes to our health, there is an invisible line that you just cannot cross. This quote just gets right to the heart of it. Forgetting a password for a shopping site is an inconvenience, but your medical history, that's a fundamental part of who you are. The stakes are so incredibly high, and the potential for misuse is very, very real. And this really frames what we all expect, doesn't it? We want this technology to act like a trusted doctor's notebook, private, useful, and locked away securely. What we absolutely cannot let it become is a social media feed, where our most sensitive information gets shared, analyzed for profit, or, worst of all, used for advertising. And because of this, any responsible company working on this stuff is focusing on these core principles. Your health data has to be kept totally separate from other data. Your conversations need to be fiercely protected. And, this is the big one, your information can never, ever be used to sell you something. This isn't just a nice feature, it is the absolute foundation of trust. So you might be wondering, if this AI can give you all these insights, where does that leave your actual doctor? This leads to a really important point. The role of this AI is to support medical professionals, not to replace them. The AI's job is to take all that raw data and just add some human-friendly context. It can make sense of your daily steps, your nutrition, your lab results, and give you clearer explanations. But notice the key message here. Its real purpose is to help you have a smarter, more informed conversation with your doctor. So let's be crystal clear on the roles. The AI is a powerful information tool. It can explain that confusing lab result. It can summarize a dense medical report. It can even help you come up with better questions for your next appointment. But what it cannot do is the essential work of a doctor. It can't perform an examination, it can't understand the subtle ways a patient feels, and it absolutely cannot make treatment decisions. That takes real human expertise. Honestly, here's the best way to think about it. This AI is like a navigation app. It gives you incredible information, it suggests the best route, it warns you about traffic, but at the end of the day, you are still the one driving the car. You make the final calls. The AI is there to empower you, not to control you. And really, this is the ultimate takeaway. When you have better information, when you have clearer explanations, you're no longer just a passive patient. You become an active, informed participant in your own health journey. You can ask better questions and make better decisions right there with your doctor. So as we look ahead, the technology is moving at an incredible speed. But the biggest challenge isn't going to be a technical one. It's going to be a human one. It all boils down to trust. As these tools become a bigger part of our lives, the real question is, how do we build that trust? And how do we maintain it? That's something we all need to be thinking about.